Hi, my name's Sonu Lamba, and welcome to Taco Tuesday. I love making my own refried beans. I've tried several cans of refried beans. I haven't really enjoyed the flavor, so I came up with my own wonderful recipe. So these refried beans are based on kidney beans, which I've soaked here. I soaked these last night. I like using these because it has a more traditional color. And I love the taste of kidney beans. So this is 1.5 cups of kidney beans that I've soaked. My family and I, we love doing Taco Tuesday on Tuesdays. My sons don't let me do it any other day of the week. Now, sometimes I do Taco Tuesday and I'll use the refried beans to make like a 7-layer dip. And it is fantastic with tortilla chips. I can also use the refried beans on a salad. So I would do a scoop of beans, I do lettuce, like romaine lettuce, tomatoes, cilantro, jalapenos, a plant-based protein, and then I'd put salsa on top with some guacamole, and it's fantastic. So first things first, we are gonna need 1 yellow onion. I'm gonna chop this up as fine as I can. We're also gonna need about 5 to 6 cloves of garlic. So I buy my garlic like this. It's just easier for me on busier nights. We are gonna use 2 spices. So this is cumin, and I love cumin. I buy it already ground up. Cumin can come in seeds too. If you're not used to the texture of the seeds, I suggest you buy it in this formulation, the ground up one. This is a brand I like, the Spice Way. I buy this on Amazon. It is fantastic. It is very, very affordable. Another spice we're gonna use is some paprika. Definitely buy a plain paprika. The smoked one will not work. So just be careful which one you have at home. Okay, we're also gonna use some avocado oil. So these are vegan refried beans. So I'm using avocado oil because this will take on the flavor of whatever I put in it. I don't recommend extra virgin olive oil or any other oil. This one is wonderful with the beans. Okay, finally we're gonna use some water and a secret ingredient, orange juice. So when my beans are done and I've mashed them up, I like to add a little bit of orange juice, just balances out the flavors and it gives it that wonderful aftertaste and profile that you get at very, very authentic restaurants. So definitely try these beans. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finely dice my onion. Okay, so this is a very large onion, so I'm actually gonna use just half. And I like using yellow onions for my refried beans. You can use red too if you want. Okay, so I'm just kind of finely chopping these as best as I can. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my avocado oil and add about 4 tablespoons. So this is the only fat source going in these beans, so be a little bit more generous. Okay, so my stove's on low. In goes my oil. Wonderful. And to that, I'm gonna go ahead and add these finely chopped onions. Great. I'm gonna raise my heat, give it a little stir. Okay. Okay, next I'm gonna take my garlic, 5 to 6 cloves. There's only 2 flavors in here. There's cumin and there's garlic and paprika. That's it. So be generous with the garlic. And if you have smaller pieces of garlic, add a bit extra. If you have bigger ones, stick to 4 to 5 cloves. Just use your judgment. Okay, and I'm just going to rough chop these. Okay, that looks great. So, what I'm going to do next is, before I add my garlic, I'm going to go ahead and add my cumin in another minute. Okay, so let me get it ready. So I have a bunch of other spices in here. So most of these are spices I use in my Indian cooking. These are the cumin seeds that I was talking about right here, and that's ground cumin. There's some turmeric, some red chili. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of the ground cumin. In it goes. Great. Okay, next. You can already smell that wonderful cumin cooking down with the onions. Great aroma. Okay, I'm gonna add about another teaspoon of the paprika. So in it goes. And what the paprika will do is, it's gonna actually give it a wonderful color. So I'm adding it for color, a little bit of flavor. And I'm gonna give this a mix. Wonderful. Great. Okay, once those two spices have gone in, you are ready for your garlic. Feel free to add it in. In goes the garlic. Great. And again, the heat should be on medium-low. Do not let this burn. This should just kind of cook down. Onions should get nice and flavored, but that's it. Okay, so 2 minutes or so. And you should start to see the oil, the avocado oil that I've added, go to the periphery of your pressure cooker. So that tells me that these onions are cooking down nicely and at a good temperature. Okay, so next my kidney beans are gonna go in. I'm gonna drain the water and then I'll come back and just add it in. Okay, in go my kidney beans, and this is a perfect example of how the oil, if you take a look here, the oil is separating from the onions and the cumin. This is wonderful. These onions are going to be flavored really, really nicely. When I add the kidney beans in, they're going to absorb their flavor. Okay, in go these kidney beans. Kidney beans come in a lighter brown color and a darker brown color. I like the lighter brown color. Gives for a better color when you're done. This already smells fantastic. If you haven't made your own beans from scratch, you need to, because they are delicious. You can come up with recipes once a week. They're so versatile. And then you'll never have to eat out of a can again. You can even make enchiladas with the refried beans. I do that often too. So the reason I'm cooking my kidney beans in this is to add some additional flavor. If I just dump everything in and turn my pressure cooker on, the flavor will be lacking. So I need this to cook for another maybe 3 to 4 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and add my salt now. 1.5 cups of kidney beans. I would add about a teaspoon of salt to that. That should be enough. And I'm just going to put my lid on, not seal it, for about 3 to 4 minutes. And again, my heat is medium-low. Welcome back. Okay, so let's take our lid off. It's been about 3 to 4 minutes, medium-low heat. So what I want to see is, if you look here, these onions are cooked really, really nicely. They have a nice brown rim all around them. Each onion is cooked in the oil and the herbs quite nicely. They're not raw. This is perfect. I love it. Okay, and same with the garlic. The garlic looks great. It's nice and brown. It's seasoned well. So we are going to mush all this up later, but I do want this to cook like this so it gets flavored. This is going to contribute to the inherent flavor in the end. So next, this step here, do not add too much water. What you want to do is you want to add enough water to cover your beans. Don't add too much. If you need more later, you can always add more, but you can't take it back. So I'm going to go ahead, slowly add this, take a look, give it a stir. Okay, this looks pretty good to me. I am not going to add, so the beans, some beans aren't covered. So yes, I will add just a teeny bit more. Okay, now they're covered. So this is great. Yes, they're all covered. They look great. I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on, and this will continue to cook for 25 to 30 minutes. Now, you can use kidney beans, you can use pinto beans, and you can use black beans. All of them work perfectly for refried beans. So use whatever you got at home. I usually have kidney beans and black beans. They're fantastic in this recipe. Now, if you're using kidney beans, you will have to cook this longer because it's a bigger bean. The black beans will probably need half the time, so use your judgment. This will go on for about 25 minutes. So I'm putting my lid on, and I'm gonna let this cook. If you don't know how to use a pressure cooker, please look up a YouTube video so you are following the safety features of your pressure cooker. You can totally make this in an Instapot too. I don't have an Instapot, but this recipe can be done in an Instapot too. You could even do this on a stove and you can just boil your beans. They may take 60 minutes, but as long as they're soaked, you can still make refried beans just in a big pot. Okay, so this is going to continue cooking for about 25 minutes. After that, we're going to come back, we're going to mash them up, and we're going to add our secret ingredient, OJ. Awesome. Great. So our refried beans have been cooking for about 25 minutes. I've turned the heat off and I've let it kind of cool for 8 minutes. So now I hear no noise at all. I'm going to go ahead and take this little whistle off. Great. Okay. And I'm going to take my lid off and just take a look. Hopefully there's enough moisture in here. Okay. So next, what I'm going to do is, there's my beans. I'm going to go ahead and mash this all up. This looks great. I may continue to boil this a little bit just to get rid of some of that volume, but I'm going to first mash it up. Wonderful. If you have a handheld blender, you can totally use that too. As this just sits in here, these will continue to thicken. So don't worry if it looks like it's a lot of moisture. You just need to keep mashing it and leave it uncovered. And some of that residual volume will evaporate. So, finally done mashing all these wonderful beans. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to boil this for about 10 minutes just so it starts to thicken. If you made this in the morning and just let it sit with your lid on in the pressure cooker, this would be perfectly thickened by evening time. That's totally fine. But because I need to serve this right now, I'm going to boil it just for 10 minutes and it'll have just the right amount of thickness. Okay, so I'm going to turn my heat on and let this boil for about 10 minutes. just to cook down some of that water. Okay. All right, so our refried beans have been cooking for about 10 minutes. I added a little bit extra water in my first step. Try to add a little bit less. So I cooked it just for 10 minutes on low heat, and you can take a look here. The consistency is perfect. You should have some resistance on this. This is wonderful. I love it. This is great. Now remember, as this sits, it's going to continue to get drier and drier. And if you have leftovers and you put them in the fridge, it'll be pretty thick tomorrow. So use your judgment on the volume of water. I'm going to go ahead and add my final ingredient, and that is this orange juice. So 2 to 3 tablespoons of orange juice is more than enough. And again, the orange juice is going to help flavor this. So I'm going to add maybe half of this. In it goes. That's about 2 tablespoons right there. I'm going to give it a mix. There's my orange juice, and I'm just mixing it in. This is perfect. And you don't need to cook this at all. Just mix it in there. It's going to add some citrus, some sweet, and it'll just balance out all those flavors. Okay, time for me to plate this. I'm going to take my cute little bowl here. Put some beans. See, that's a really good consistency. This is not runny. This is not too thick. You don't want it too thick either, because it's not so appetizing if it's too thick. So this is great. Put it in here just like that. Great. Okay, next to this, I'm just gonna garnish it with some cilantro. I love cilantro in my Mexican food. It is wonderful. Okay, a little bit of cilantro, just like that. Time for Taco Tuesday. So here's my taco. I'm using a blue corn taco here. I've toasted it so it's nice and crispy. I'm gonna go ahead and add my beans to it. So this is a wonderful texture. You can see they're just going in there so effortlessly. Not too runny, not too thick. In they go. Awesome. Okay, so add whatever toppings you like. I like salsa, I like lettuce, jalapenos, and some cilantro. I love tofutti sour cream. So tofutti does a vegan sour cream. It is excellent, it's healthier. I don't have that today, but I highly recommend that. So in goes my salsa. Great. Okay, I'm gonna put some on my lettuce. This is just some romaine lettuce. Okay, I'm gonna put my cilantro. And then finally my jalapenos. Great. Okay, so that looks fantastic. So I'm gonna try this. So my beans are perfectly seasoned. I can taste the cumin, I can taste the garlic. I taste a hint of the orange juice. It is excellent. These beans are so well balanced. You have to make this dish. You can make it with enchiladas, again, a salad, like a taco salad, 7-layer dip, or a taco for Taco Tuesday. If you liked any aspect of my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It would be such a compliment to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this.